Good morning, everyone. I'm Terry Tornick, Mayor of the City of Pasadena. I would like to welcome you all to Pasadena Salutes Our Veterans Day 2016. Thank you all for coming. This is a great event for us, and I'd like to begin by reading a proclamation on behalf of the Pasadena City Council. Whereas the history of the United States is rich with the deeds of those Pasadena residents that have served in our armed forces with honor and distinction, and whereas today we recognize these courageous men and women who represent the best our nation and community have to offer, and with their service, these veterans have proven that America's freedoms are worth protecting, and whereas in order to provide an opportunity for Pasadena's youth to train as tomorrow's leaders, the Pasadena Unified School District hosts a junior ROTC program at Blair High School. And whereas veterans gathered here today in Centennial Square represent multiple generations, and whereas it is fitting, therefore, that we honor all Americans who have served in the military and that we encourage those who will serve our nation in the future, now, therefore, I, Terry Tornick, Mayor of the City of Pasadena, on behalf of the Pasadena City Council, do proclaim November 11th, 2016 as Veterans Day in the City of Pasadena and reaffirm the deep appreciation of a grateful community for the patriotism, sacrifice, and service of our veterans. Thank you. I would ask you all to rise as the Blair High School Junior ROTC Color Guard presents the colors.
March time. March. Love. Love. Right. Love. Love. Right. Color guard. Halt. Love. Face.
Please place your hands over your hearts and recite the pledge with me.
Reset. Colors.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Carry. Colors.
Please be seated. I would now like to introduce our Master of Ceremonies, a man who has been deeply involved in these events for some years, a former City Council member, Mayor of Pasadena, Pasadena City College trustee and Army veteran, Bill Thompson.
Thank you very much, Mayor Tornick. I really appreciate the introduction, and I am really extremely grateful for this opportunity to serve Pasadena and our community once again as the Master of Ceremonies for this Veterans Day celebration, which we've designated as Pasadena Salutes Our Veterans. My father served in the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers in India, Burma, and China during the Second World War, and three brothers of my wife, Carol, also served our country during World War II. Fresh out of college, I served in Germany as lieutenant with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers with very definite responsibilities in the event of certain moves by the Russian military. My military experience truly changed my life positively and forever. As military veterans, we all recognize and understand that truth and honesty are central values in our lives, and we live our lives with this principle foremost each and every day. So it is most appropriate that we now bring forward Auxiliary Bishop Joseph Sartoris, who will deliver the invocation for us this morning. Now, Bishop Sartoris is a native of Los Angeles. He studied at St. John's Seminary in Camarillo, California, and was ordained a priest of the Los Angeles Archdiocese. He was appointed by Pope John Paul II as the Auxiliary Bishop of Los Angeles, led the Archdiocese of San Pedro Pastoral Region for several years, and was consecrated a bishop by Cardinal Mahoney in 1994. He's been a very active volunteer in our inner city schools, and it is a distinct honor and pleasure to have him with us today. Please join me in welcoming Auxiliary Bishop Joseph Sartoris. Thank you.
Please join with me in spirit as we pray. O God, our help in ages past, our hope for years to come, our guide while life will last, and our eternal home. In the spirit of that age-old hymn that we know so well, we gather, Father, conscious and grateful for all the blessings you have given us in ages past, and with confidence and firm hope that you will continue to bless, guide, and protect us for years to come. Today we join our fellow countrymen in giving thanks for the patriots, men, women of the armed forces, who have served and promoted the sacred values upon which our country is founded. This day gives us an opportunity to thank them for having defended our country in time of war and in time of peace. May we never take for granted or forget their contribution to all of us. We give special honor and thanks to those who have given their lives in defense of freedom. They are true heroes. We also pray for their families and loved ones who mourn them. We honor and we thank those whose bodies and memories carry wounds from battle. Comfort them, help us to never allow them to be without the care, housing, and necessities of life for which their service entitles them. We honor and pray for those who served in non-combative roles. May we recognize their commitment and treasure it. Father, we pray in a special way for the veterans of past years, the seniors in their late years of life. Bless them with special grace and let them know their contribution is never forgotten. At this time, following our national election, we pray for blessings on our president-elect. May he be a wise commander-in-chief for our troops and a fearless champion for the cause of justice, a peace grounded in integrity and dignity of all the people. Heal our divisions, that we may work together for the common good and the good of our nation. And lastly, place in our hearts an abiding confidence that as you have been our help in ages past, you will continue to be our hope now and for years to come. Amen.
Thank you very much, Bishop Sartoris. It's now our pleasure to have with us today a very special individual, Congresswoman Judy Chu. She represents the 27th Congressional District, and she was just reelected by a mere 66% of the vote. Very nice, wonderful, well-deserved. She has been a staunch supporter for veterans and for which we're extremely grateful. And she's going to be able to share a few moments, a few thoughts with us this morning. So please welcome Congresswoman Judy Chu. Welcome. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Bill. It is wonderful to be here in the city of Pasadena to honor our veterans. First, let me say to those of you who were or are members of our armed services, you have sacrificed so much so that we could enjoy our freedom as a nation. We cannot thank you enough for what you've done for our country. Can every veteran and member of the armed service stand so that we can give them a huge round of applause? Thank you so much. You know, on Veterans Day, I always think of my father. He served during World War II in the Pacific while in the Army as a radio communications sergeant in Okinawa. It was a life-changing experience for him. He passed away last year at the age of 91, but one of the things I know he was the proudest of in his life was of his service to his country. It is with my father in mind that I know we must do everything we can for the 21 million veterans who served in our armed services in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, and who are now returning from Iraq, Afghanistan. We must begin by helping our returning veterans find jobs, which is why earlier this year I hosted the Job Hunters Boot Camp, my annual jobs fair to help people find work right away. In fact, we had over 50 employers, and I was proud to provide veterans with a dedicated workshop that takes into special consideration their unique challenges and needs and helps veterans build the tools necessary for finding employment. And we will work year-round to make sure that veterans are able to get jobs through organizations like the Employment Development Department. And we must help our veterans get the health care they deserve. It is outrageous that veterans in our area have been forced to make long trips to health centers outside our region in Long Beach and West LA to obtain treatment for service-connected injuries and trauma. This is unacceptable, and that's why it's my top priority to bring a veterans health clinic to the San Gabriel Valley. We have, yes. We have an incredible coalition that's working on it. The Veterans of Foreign Wars, American Legion, Disabled American Veterans, and many community leaders. The Veterans Administration has agreed to staff this clinic, and now I want to thank Mayor Tornick and the City of Pasadena, who is working with us to find a suitable location. So I feel confident that with all of us working together, soon veterans will get the health care they need. And we need to make sure veterans have access to a veterans identification card. There are veterans that do not have service-related injuries that have had trouble getting such a card. That's why Congress passed a bill in 2015 to make it easier for them to show that as they've returned to civilian life that they are veterans. The good news is finally this card will be available at the end of 2017, and veterans will then be able to easily show that they are veterans so they can get special discounts and options made especially for them. And then there are the issue of these bonuses. It is not right that the government wants to take back the bonus you were promised for serving in Iraq and Afghanistan. Yet that's exactly what happened to veterans last month. Veterans were promised bonuses of anywhere from a few thousand to $60,000 to sign up to serve in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they did it. And then, more than a decade after veterans served and risked their lives overseas with some sustaining injuries, the Pentagon said, "Oops, we made a mistake. You didn't qualify for the bonus. We demand our money back with interest." I was outraged, and along with many of my colleagues in Congress, we are demanding that these repayments be stopped. Fortunately, Defense Secretary Ash Carter halted immediate collection, but this is only a temporary fix. And when Congress gets back into session on Monday, I'm urging House leadership to put legislation on the floor immediately to forgive the money owed by those who acted in good faith and return the money already paid by service members with interest. Finally, let me say that it's so important to honor the accomplishments of our veterans from the San Gabriel Valley for all the public to acknowledge. A few days ago, I had that privilege by renaming the U.S. Post Office in Sierra Madre after Sergeant Louis Van Ursel, an immigrant from the Netherlands and decorated veteran of World War I and II. When he signed up, he didn't know a word of English. He learned it in the Army. But then, thank goodness, he knew German because he was deployed to France during World War I, braved heavy fire to swim across the icy Seine River to eavesdrop on German soldiers who were discussing a heavy artillery barrage that would have wiped out the whole American battalion. With the information he had, he swam back, reported his findings, enabled the American troops to take cover before the attack began. Because of his actions, he saved 1,000 American lives and earned America's highest military medal, the Medal of Honor. Now, if that were not enough, when World War II broke out, he tried to enlist again, but he was turned away by the Army because of his old age. Well, he wasn't going to let that stop him, and so he appealed to the Marine Corps instead, and they accepted him. And he did return home after the war to Sierra Madre to raise his families. All in all, he earned 18 medals for his heroism, becoming one of the most highly decorated veterans in the history of the San Gabriel Valley, if not really the nation. It is stories like this that remind us of the incredible sacrifices our veterans have made and their continued dedication to this country. Each of you is a hero that inspires us all, and I'm so privileged to be here with you and to celebrate the contributions of our men and women who have served. Thank you, and thank you to all our veterans. And if I may, I'd like to present a certificate of congressional recognition to the Pasadena Marine Center who made today's event possible.
Thank you very much. That's wonderful to get the commendation, wonderful to hear your remarks, and again, we are so positive about your efforts to protect and provide more opportunities to protect our veterans who have served this nation so wonderfully. At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Monet Bonaris. Once again, she was with us last year and sang the national anthem for us at that time, and she will do so once again. She told me a moment ago that her grandfather was the first African American to serve at the Marine headquarters, excuse me, I can't read my own writing here, and also was a World War II veteran and received the Congressional Gold Medal. So she is also the daughter of Michelle Bonaris and Joe Bonaris. Michelle is our city attorney of the city of Pasadena, and welcome to you. Thank you so much.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Monet. That was wonderful as always. It's now my pleasure to introduce and recognize some very special individuals, the VIPs that are with us today. First of all, we have Fonte Riddle, who is now serving as the field representative for our Assembly Representative Chris Holden. Fuente, welcome. You've met the Mayor of Pasadena, Terry Tornick. We have the Vice Mayor, Jane Masuda, with us today. We have Council members John Kennedy, Council member Tyrone Hampton. We have Steve Mermel, the City Manager of Pasadena. We have Ross Selvage, who is a trustee at Pasadena City College. And last but certainly not least, we have Bill Paparian, a former mayor of the city of Pasadena. Bill, thank you. I'd also like to have just everybody on our committee who has been so involved in making this happen today, please just stand to be recognized. All right. Thank you very, very much. You know, we are so fortunate today to have with us the band from Blair High School in Pasadena. And it's wonderful to have local high school students here to participate as they have both in the junior ROTC activities and also now the band. They're going to play the national anthems for the Army, the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, and the Coast Guard. We would ask that veterans for these particular branches please stand as your anthem is played. Thank you. Thank you very much. Let's give one more big round of applause to the Blair High School Band. We are so fortunate and so blessed to have talent like that in our Pasadena public schools. Now, if we have any Gold Star families with us today, would you please stand to be recognized? Not sure whether we do or not, but okay. Now it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker today, who is Brigadier General Paul Lebedine, the Commanding General of the 4th Marine Division. He began his distinguished and unique military career in 1984 by enlisting in the Marine Corps. Graduating honor man and following promotion to corporal, he was selected for the enlisted commissioning program. A career infantryman, General Lebedine has commanded every level of service from platoon to division. He spent several years of combat deployments, beginning with Desert Shield Storm and numerous tours of duty in Iraq and Afghanistan. He also served as the executive officer of the 1st Marine Headquarters Group, the 1 MEF, for Operation Iraq Freedom, and later constructed and served as the camp commander of Camp Babylon, Iraq. General Lebedine is a graduate of the Army Ranger School. He has a Bachelor of Arts from the University of California, or excuse me, University of Florida, I beg your pardon, a law degree from the Thomas Jefferson Law School in San Diego, and a master's from the U.S. Army War College. With General Lebedine today are his wife, Angie, and their 2 daughters, Brooke and Bryn. Please join me in welcoming Brigadier General Paul Lebedine and his family to our Pasadena Veterans Day. Welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, I can tell you I would have preferred the University of California, University of Florida. How's that, all right? But thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Let me do something a little bit different, all right? Let me do so. I'm pretty sure you've never gotten a direct order from a general. Is that probably right, huh? We're gonna get one right now, all right? Feel free to move around. You can do anything you like, all right? Make sure you get the blood flowing and don't stand there like a statue. Fair enough? Don't do like my Marines. You can please listen to me, all right? Okay. Folks say to me, did it matter that I started as an enlisted Marine? Having stayed there a few times, it does matter, all right? Well, you know, friends and family of Pasadena and mostly our veterans, it's my privilege today to be part of this ceremony to recognize our veterans that have served with us with honor, distinction, valor, and patriotism. And as long as we have great cities such as Pasadena, their sacrifices and service will never be forgotten. You know, I say that because I live in San Diego now, and they like to say that they're America's finest city. But I could simply tell you, coming up here today and watching this and observing the leadership of this community, I don't think they can say that anymore. I'm pretty sure Pasadena is America's finest city. Thank you all. Thank you for what you're doing today. You know, I don't want to forget this, so I'm going to highlight it right now. But for those that are looking to take some photos, is that a great photo there? Our World War II vet, right? You know? And look who he's around, huh? And if you wonder why we have these ceremonies, my gosh, you know the purpose is for those young folks right there to recognize that. So thank you, sir, all right? Thank you for you being here. You know, above the fray of this last week, there certainly is some common ground and understanding that America's freedoms are worth protecting and are never free. And today, Veterans Day, it's time for all of us to simply say thank you to some wonderful Americans. You know, the history of Veterans Day started at the end of World War I, at the armistice in 1919. In fact, at the very hour, day, and month that we still recognize today, they signed that treaty. In 1954, it became Veterans Day to honor all our veterans from all our wars, and it continues on today. So if I could, and I think I thank Congressman Chu, and she's already done so, but what I'd like to do is just have our Vietnam vets stand if they would, please. Our veterans, please. Since the Congresswoman had recognized all veterans, I just wanted to highlight another group in a sense and just let you know thank you for your efforts. Thank you so much, because I can tell you from my generation that came back over the last 15 years that we weren't forgotten. And we appreciate the time and the effort that you continue to put forward to help us in our current service and help us when we become veterans. And so thank you so much. And we greatly appreciate you being here today and the example that you set for all of us. Hoorah. In the mid-90s, I had the honor of, in fact, yesterday was our Marine Corps birthday, and we have ball ceremony. And in that year over here in Long Beach, I was the captain in charge of the ceremony. And the guest of honor was a gentleman named Pete Conrad, who was the third man to walk on the moon, who was in charge of the Apollo 12 mission in 1969. And he was a retired Navy captain. And when he arrived at the Queen Mary, I kind of went and found him to kind of hint to him that the Marines would be standing at parade rest, during his comments. So please kind of keep that in mind. And like these Marines, all of us are wondering today is, how long am I going to go, right? So he said to me, he said, "I got it, Captain, thanks." And then when it was his turn to speak, what he said is that he simply wanted to add something to Marine Corps history. And that in the early 60s, he had been a test pilot in the F-4 Phantom down in Texas, and his experimental jet had crashed. And in the back seat of that jet was a Marine Corps captain who died. And later, when he walked on the moon, he took that Marine Corps captain's gold wings and he placed them underneath the American flag. And what he wanted to add to Marine Corps history was, don't let it ever be said that a Marine hadn't walked on the moon. And that was it. And later on, he came and found me. And he said, "Captain, was that short enough for you?" And I said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "Well, do you think they understood what I was trying to say?" And I said, "Yes, sir, it was a wonderful sentiment." He goes, No, much more powerful than that. Much more powerful. What I was trying to say to all that serve, it really is about your contribution. It's your contribution in passing to generation and generation to those things that matter so much to us as a country. Honor, courage, commitment, traditions, and values. And we're not perfect, and at times we falter, but the institution continues to aspire to do what is right. And today he would be so proud to be here to see this. He'd be proud of your mayor and his service in the Army. He would be proud of this city that in World War II opened up its hotels and became military headquarters and hospitals. In fact, Caltech and the Jet Propulsion Research and Development that started then continues here today. And I would also say my own storied division, the Red Diamond, the Fighting Fourth, landed on Iwo Jima, Saipan, and Tinian. And out to sea out there was that light cruiser, the USS Pasadena, named for this city, named and now there is another Navy sub that's down in San Diego that also bears the name of this wonderful city, a nuclear sub, and the tradition continues. Veterans Day is about celebrating service. Memorial Day is about honoring those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And I'm so pleased that you brought and said something about our Gold Star families, and we should never forget their continuing service to our country and the pain that they feel and understanding the service that they see and what it means to them to continue on our fine traditions and with their loved one gave the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you so much for pointing that out today. I was asked by a reporter yesterday about what do you think the veterans would want to get across to our civilians that are here today? And so I took it to mean, what would the veterans say to our next generation? In other words, how could one continue to honor, or what is the best way to honor our veterans? So I would ask our kind of next generation. Are we getting ready? All right. You want to get up, Bill? Ladies and gentlemen, World War II, your traditions. Sorry about that. Wow. And it's all the original pilots too, all right? All right. That's just amazing. It's just one more thing, all right? So I'm definitely going to be here next year sitting over there. Fair enough, so thank you. The point I was trying to make for our next generation is to give some thought to your service. And it doesn't necessarily have to be in the military, and there's some wonderful examples right here today in our police and our firefighters and our city council and our political leadership and what they do and don't get any credit at all. And thank you for that, and our Congresswoman Chu and our mayor and so much of their time and effort. There's ways to serve, and so please think about that. Think about your ability to continue to contribute to something larger than oneself. So in closing, I just want to say thank you again for this event. Thank you for the invitation to speak. God bless you all. God bless America. Semper Fidelis, and thank you.
Thank you so much for that. So well done, so appropriate, and we're really grateful for having you here in the city of Pasadena. The City Council had put together a commendation recognizing the 10th anniversary of the Marine Center in Pasadena. And let me just hand this to you. I will not go through and read the entire time, but it says, I, Terry Tornig, Mayor of the City of Pasadena, on behalf of the City Council, do hereby commend the 2nd Battalion, 23rd Marines, upon the 10th anniversary of being headquartered in Pasadena, extend our gratitude for long, faithful service to the city and citizens, and wish them fair winds and following seas. Thank you so much. I'll give that to you too. Thank you.
I just want to add to it the one thing, if we're going to, about that drill center, it's named after Lieutenant Bleckensmith, who gave the ultimate sacrifice in Iraq in 2004. His dad was a Marine in Vietnam, and we still honor him, and so this will go right next to that plaque, and thank you so much for tuning in. Hoorah.
Thank you so very much. We now return to our Blair Band and their trumpeters, I believe. They will honor us with taps and an echo. Thank you so very much. Once again, let's give a big round of applause for the Blair High School Band and Junior ROTC Color Guard and all the people. I really want to thank everybody for coming here. So grateful to the committee that's helped put together this event. Couldn't be done without the support of all the people who were involved in that. And I'm really extremely grateful to have your support. It's been a real honor to have worked with you on that, and I'm very appreciative of that. So this concludes our program, but we do have a few hot dogs back there and a few things to be consumed that are food. I understand we were expecting something like 1,200 hot dogs. I'm told we got 2,000 hot dogs. I hope you're all very hungry. But thanks so much for coming, and we will see you next year at the same time again. Thank you.